तुझसे दूर किए था, ये मैं मेरा ही मुझको तुझसे दूर किए था। जाने गुरूर था क्यों मुझको जो मगरूर किए था, जाने गुरूर था क्यों मुझको जो मगरूर किए था। निगाह पर्दा हटा रब को निगहबां पाया, निगाह पर्दा हटा रब को निगहबां पाया। आईना साफ किया, साफ नजर में आया। ये तेरी यादें तो रूबरू मिलाती है, ये तेरी यादें तो रूबरू मिलाती है। देखूं तुझे तो बड़ा रूह सुकून पाती है, देखूं तुझे तो बड़ा रूह सुकून पाती है। कभी न मैं तन्हा रब को रहनुमा पाया, कभी न मैं तन्हा रब को रहनुमा पाया। आईना साफ किया, साफ नजर तू आया।
Shanti, Sister Jayanti,
Om Shanti.
and welcome to everyone. So, then when I remember, long time ago, you had said that a bondage is that which doesn't allow you to do that which you want to, and makes you do that which you don't want to. You said it many, many years ago, and it stayed with me. And also, if we look at the yajna, I think that has always been the test, hasn't it? That how many have been able to free themselves from those bondages, and that enables them to go ahead. Like sometimes when we say, what is the one thing? So maybe according to today's Murli, it's really to what extent can you free yourself from all the bondages? So anyway, welcome everyone. We will be discussing the 15th December Murli today. Thank you, Sister Jayanti.
Om Shanti Arnaben, and Om Shanti to everyone who's joined us. And I was fascinated by the thread of the Murli, how Baba weaves an amazing story and always starts with huge amount of love and encouragement, empowerment, raising us to the highest state. And then Baba gradually, gently unfolds the story of what's going on and how you can sort it out, and closes with the solutions. And so this time also, Baba spoke about the eternal love, the imperishable love, the godly love that God has for his children, and the children also are in the hearts of the Comforter of Hearts. But of course, there are two types of children in terms of the world. Those who have recognized him and attained him and have received the treasures, and those who are still searching and are calling out. And so Baba making us realize that the vast majority still don't know God and don't have a living relationship with him, and our amazing fortune that we do know God and we've received endless, infinite, eternal, imperishable treasures from God. And so just making us aware of our fortune, if we keep forgetting, again, the reminder very beautifully, and the upliftment that comes through this, God's love for me, my love for God. But Baba actually making it very clear that our love is for a very specific motive, that we know that these are the treasures we can receive. And so our love for God is because of all the treasures he's giving us. So it isn't that pure, altruistic love in which just simply receiving God's love and giving God our love, but there's a motive there. So that's okay. Baba doesn't mind. Baba says, well, all these treasures are for you anyway. And again, Baba using this term, the first treasure. And so think about all the other treasures that Baba didn't mention. But of course, we know Baba has given us so many treasures. But this time, Baba's treasure was focused on the treasure of knowledge, the very first treasure that we recognized. And again, I was thinking that in the early days, right at the beginning, they didn't have the treasure of knowledge. They just had the awareness that this is God, I am God's child, and that's it. Nothing else, nothing else. And so how do they come to Baba and manage to sacrifice everything, just simply God's love? They're lucky. Maybe luck, maybe destiny, whatever it is, but we've had the fortune of receiving huge treasures of knowledge from Baba, which Baba gives us and continues to give us. And we take it, we use them, sometimes we share them, sometimes we lose them, we forget them. All of this goes on. And Baba keeps giving and giving and giving. And so the result of treasures, the treasure of knowledge is that which makes us sensible, that which enables us to see the three aspects of time, so that whatever actions we perform are absolutely right. Because I understand the past, I can see what I need to do in the future, because I know what is the outcome that I would like to have. And so Trikaldarshi, see the three aspects of time and perform action on the basis of that. And yes, then you're free from bondages. And where I'm free from bondage, then I say, Vah, Vah, how wonderful is God, how wonderful is knowledge, how wonderful is my destiny, my fortune, how wonderful am I? And if I'm not using the treasure in my life in a practical way, then I find myself trapped, and the sign of being trapped, there's great distress. And neither am I experiencing the wonder of God and treasures and my fortune and so on. And neither am I able to fly. I'm just experiencing distress. And how can I fly if I'm distressed? But Baba's saying, don't allow any distress, even in your thoughts or in your dreams, to come to that stage where it's just wonder. And I was remembering how for Daddy, everything was wonderful, everything. I remember one sister telling me that she'd fractured her wrist or her arm or something, but her arm was in a sling. And she went to meet Daddy in Shakti Bhavan. She'd traveled from abroad. And Daddy saw the sling and said, wonderful. And the sister said it made me smile, that for Daddy, everything is wonderful. Even a fracture, an arm in a sling is wonderful. So yes, Vah, 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 everything is wonderful when you're free from all bondages. And of course, Baba saying that this is what is Jivan Mukti. You can experience Jivan Mukti here and now, to be free from all bondage. And if there's distress, then there's bondages. And if you're not liberated in life now, how are you going to be able to experience liberation in life in the future? And if you're still experiencing bondages today, then what does that mean? The gates of mukti are not being opened for others also. So when Baba says drama is waiting for you, it's absolutely a fact, because I think everybody's more than ready to go home now, just seeing what's going on in the whole wide world. And so let me be able to liberate myself from all the royal gold and diamond bondages that might still exist, so that I can be free and allow others to be free also. Then the gates of mukti can open. And again, Baba teasing us and reminding us, God can change the world any moment. He has this contract, this responsibility, but God wants to give us the opportunity to create our fortune. So out of love, He offers us this opportunity so that we fulfill this responsibility of transforming the world and fulfilling that contract together with Him. And so are we remembering our responsibility? And so Baba always links it to whatever's going on at the current time at that moment. Also, this is a Murli from March 2004. And so Baba is saying, how many Shivratris have you celebrated? Not just through the years, but just imagine there are 14 flags hoisted in the 3 complexes and the hospital, etc., etc. 14 flag hoistings happen in Madhuban every single year now. And the daddies used to enjoy every single one and do every flag hoisting with great enthusiasm and love, as if it was the first flag they were hoisting. You know, people joining them would sort of say, oh, another flag. But the daddies never said that. For them, it was joy and exuberance and dancing and clapping and inspiring everyone. So you've celebrated Shivratri many times, but when are you going to celebrate hoisting Baba's flag in your hearts? And I'm not sure how to translate this word, Sreshtachari, because Baba spoke about how corruption in the world has reached its peak. And the contrast, Bhrashtachar, corruption, Sreshtachar, that which is elevated, that which is noble. And so when you're going to celebrate hoisting the flag of greatness, of nobility, of that which is elevated, Sreshtachar, in your hearts. And when you think about the depth of this word, Sreshtachar, normally Baba talks about revelation or liberation, but Sreshtachar, it is a very nice, beautiful word. So can I allow that flag of greatness and nobility and that elevated consciousness to fly in my heart continually? And I was saying that the reason why it's not yet happening is for 2 factors. And they both start with one in Hindi. And so it's 2 words, but they both start with ek, one. And so one is unity, ekta. There's a variety of sanskars, there's a variety of all sorts of things. But yet within all that diversity, to be able to be unified, ekta, one idea, one direction, one task. And then the second, to be able to have focus, concentration, and be able to achieve that which is elevated within not just our thoughts, but our practical life, our actions. So Baba looking at everybody's chart and saying, well, what Baba is seeing is that in your thoughts, 90% of the time, you have very high, elevated, noble thoughts, pure thoughts. And then when it comes down to words, it's reduced. And when it comes down to actions, it's reduced even more. So that concept of unity, that concept of raising the flag of Shrestachar, behavior which is elevated, mustn't just be in my thinking or just in my head, but it has to be in my heart. And then it's going to manifest in my relationships and my actions and my connections. I don't even want to mention the figure that Baba gave for the percentage of by the time it moves from your thoughts to your actions. But no, let it be in your heart, not just in your thoughts, but in your heart, so that then it can emerge, not stay emerged, but actually emerged in your life in practical activity. And so ekta and then ekagrta, concentration, focus, determination. Because if it's there in your thoughts, determined, then it's going to manifest also. And so Baba saying that the double foreigners are very good at this. If they have a thought, they're going to make it happen. And yes, the double foreigners have that double determination, but Baba loves the Bharatvasis also. And so Baba said triple determination for them too. And then what are those royal bondages that Baba spoke about? And Baba saying that what happens is that instead of remembering that through self-transformation, there can be world transformation, we're waiting for world transformation and then the self, or transformation of others and then me. And so Baba asked us, teasing us, should we change the slogan? Should we delete the slogan of self-transformation brings world transformation? So, of course, it's not going to happen like that. And so waiting for somebody else, and Baba said it's because you're looking outside instead of looking at yourself. Be Arjuna, be the one who takes the initiative, take the responsibility, and carry that for yourself. And then you won't say, but if maybe this, maybe that, what about this one? What about the other one? No, when I change, the world changes also. So remember the slogan that we have always used for a long, long time. And of course, when I start using that understanding that I have to change, Baba says it's like dying. It's not easy, but it is a death. It's the death of the ego. It's the death of the old I. But this dying is a sweet dying, which gives you liberation in life for half the cycle. And so it's a sweet death. And who else is going to do it except you? Yes, there'll be a few new ones who come along who race and go ahead and become last so fast or even last so first, but that'll be a rare few. And I think we're seeing this at the current time, that more and more numbers come to Baba. Well, in India, huge numbers, but even abroad through Zoom, where we used to get 40, 50 people for a talk, now we get not just hundreds, but sometimes thousands for talks. But yes, a little bit of gyan, a little bit of knowledge, and a little bit of benefit. So responsibility is being fulfilled. But are they the ones who are going to hoist the flag? Are they the ones who are going to fulfill the contract that God has taken and offered us also to share in that contract? Baba said, no, it's going to be all of you. the 8 have emerged, the 108 have emerged, the 16,000 have to emerge. But that's also all of this, the 8, okay, fixed, 108, 16,000, it's all of us who'll be part of that. It's not any strangers, it's not new ones, except, like I was saying, 1 or 2 individuals who will be the examples to prove the law wrong, but no, a few will come still. And so this is the challenge that we have at this moment, not to give excuses or not to put problems in front of Baba because of this, because of that, because of the other, but to be the embodiment of solutions, to use the gyan that Baba has given us already, and the gyan that has given us so much, and to be able to use it, and through that be effective in whatever it is we would like to do. And so Baba's words of love, words of blessings, but also very straight pointers about what it is we need to do. The task of world transformation has to be completed, and it has to be completed soon. And we have to be the ones who are going to make all of this happen. So powerful and very, very loving, as usual.
Thank you, Sister Jayanti. It reminds me of especially this last point about, well, the other point about the percentages. You wake up in the morning and you say you want to donate 1,000, whatever, pounds, dollars. And then by lunchtime, you want to donate 500. And then by evening, it becomes 200. So, gentlemen, what is the missing link? It's not just time. It's not just that time has lapsed, between morning and noon. It's what? Insecurity, it's lack of self-respect, doubt. What is missing? What is degrading that thought?
Baba's saying that I've forgotten my eternal identity and I'm not ready to die. And so, yes, it's my old insecurities, my fears that have crept in. And so the living death and rebirth just isn't there. That consciousness is fading away as the day goes by, and the things that are happening around me get squeezed in. They squeeze out those pure, vibrant energy thoughts that I had in the morning. And so I allow my consciousness, instead of being up there with Baba, the flag of nobility and Shrestachar, that elevated state, gradually I'm looking around, seeing what's going on, and that intoxication, that passion gets reduced. And so, and of course, as the day goes by, more and more stuff starts to come in. And by the end of the day, I'm quite depleted. Yeah. Daddy used to tell us the story of how a person, she was in Pune, and she would switch on the red light in the mornings at 3:30, 3:45, and everybody in that area knew that it was time for meditation. And this person who was living in that neighborhood and they could see that light, this person told his wife at that time, Daddy is now up for meditation. I want you to take this to Daddy. And the wife says, but I can take it later. It's so early, it's dark still. And he says, no. By the time the light comes and I start thinking about other things, maybe I'll have changed my mind. And so he sent his wife out to take this, whatever it was, the treasures that he had, whether it was notes or coins or whatever, but he sent them to Daddy right first thing, Amrit Vela, early in the morning, because he knew that as the light comes and the sun rises, then his own pure thought might change.
Yeah, because Jinwen, because it started off with a pure thought. I mean, so what gave birth to that pure thought?
My faith. I have love for Baba. I have faith in Baba, but then I'm not willing to keep that pure thought absolutely powerful with that determination and focus and concentration, ekagrta. Yes, the thought has come, but am I able to sustain that? And Baba mentioned concentration and focus, but also determination. I'm allowing other things to enter my intellect and dilute that thought. And so it gets more and more diluted until actually it loses its power. And so I do maybe a little percentage of that rather than the fullness of what I had thought in the morning. So I was saying, okay, donation of money is whatever it is, but any pure thought for self-transformation, early morning, sit with Baba at Amrit Vela, and there's such a powerful thought. For Baba, I'm ready to do anything. For Baba, I will do this. But then I look around me and I'm saying, well, they haven't changed. They haven't changed. They're not doing anything. Why are they doing this? That finger, Baba actually made that gesture. The finger is pointing there and I'm not seeing the fingers pointing to me. And that responsibility and that focus of absolute concentration. Ek. Again, the word ek comes into focus and concentration, ekagrta. I'm not allowing that thought to be impacted by anything that's going on around me. Doesn't matter what's going on. My thought and my commitment to Baba are important. And so when Baba's saying, die the living death, it's a sweet death. It means I'm not going to look at other things. I'm only going to let go of my own ego, and I'm just going to be with Baba and put that pure thought into practical life. This is where Baba uses this expression. It has to come from your heart. It's not going to happen if it's just logic and reason, but something that moves my heart and I say, out of my love for Baba, this is what I'm going to do. And it doesn't matter whether somebody else does whatever it is they're doing. It's nothing to do with them. It's me and my relationship with one. That's the only important thing for me at this moment. And if I have that and I'm nurturing that, then I'll have the power and capacity to move mountains. Service will happen automatically and naturally in whatever way it's meant to. But my vision has to be focused on Baba and me. What do I need to do? As soon as my vision goes around here, this one that, finish. That power is lost. And so that Amrit Vela determination, by the time it comes down to practical life and activity, it's gone.
Yeah, that's so beautiful. So actually, yeah, this was the other question, gentlemen, that is every ego crunch a sweet death? I think the result is sweet, but when you're going through it, it's not that sweet. So maybe if you could elaborate this death, this death of, okay, ego, but any thoughts about that?
Think about something else connected with this. And I mentioned it before on this event, but the sign of ego is pain. And so what Baba is saying to me is, let go of your ego and you'll be free from pain, the bondage, the distress. When I recognize with my heart that it's my ego that's causing me distress, not this one, this one, this one, this one, this one. Stop all of that and just look at me. And if I'm in distress, why am I in distress? What is the pain I'm experiencing? The pain I'm experiencing is the ego. And when I'm ready to let go of it, then there's going to be freedom for me. I'll give you a very simple example. And it's a very external type of example, but it was a big lesson for me. I love coffee, and many of you know this. And even the smell of coffee today, I still love. But at some point, I had to realize that the coffee was actually causing me problems, and physically, health-wise. And I didn't want to let go of the coffee. But when I decided, yes, I understand, definitely there isn't another problem. And I'm not telling everybody to give up coffee, but I'm just sharing my own story. I had to realize that the coffee is the culprit and I have to stop. And so I decided and I stopped the coffee, and gradually the things I was dealing with were getting sorted out. And so, not easy, but once you really truly accept that this is the cause of problems and you're ready to take power from Baba and let go. I didn't say to Baba, Baba, give me the power to let go of coffee. I just knew that I had to be more self-conscious. I had to draw the power and use that power, and I let go. And definitely it's been beneficial. And so letting go of my ego, and of course, coffee was an addiction for some decades, but ego is an addiction for thousands of years. It's not just one birth or, decades, but it's thousands of years, millennia. And so, and I keep thinking, I've dealt with ego, but something else comes, a different manifestation, and a different manifestation, and a different one. And so this is why when finally I've let go of ego and there's consciousness of one, then yes, I'm nearing that state of being karmatit. But until then, it's the onions, the onion skin. I keep peeling. And as I'm peeling, the tears are coming down my cheeks, but I have to keep on peeling until really there's no more pain. And that's the sign there's no more ego. While I still have pain and suffering and distress, there's ego there. No other reason. Because as God's children, we're blessed. We have everything that Baba's giving us. And so how come I'm not happy? And of course, this big thing that Baba identified. I'm not looking inside for the cause. I'm looking outside for the cause. And well, I can spend my lifetime doing that. Today is this thing, tomorrow is this thing, tomorrow will be another thing. There'll always be reasons and factors that I can point to. But I'm not looking at myself. And so my ego is preventing me from looking at myself, but it's causing me pain. I don't want that pain. I don't want this distress. The remaining period of Sangam Yug that is left for us, I want to experience a super sensuous joy that Baba talks about. And I've had a glimpse of it from time to time. It's not that I've never had it. I've had glimpses of it. But now I want to be able to claim it as my birthright. Whatever time remains, that's what I want, to experience that super sensuous joy without any other influence working on me, only God's canopy above me, so that the problems stay out there and the solution is within me.
Yeah, very nice. So this is a good segue to the bondages. And it's almost like, gentlemen, we have this love-hate relationship, as you were saying, with bondages, as we do with Maya, I think. And today we were discussing different types of bondages. Of course, there's many, and each one knows what their bondages are. But gentlemen, how do we know? I mean, you had a wake-up call. Excuse the pun. You had a wake-up call with your coffee. But how do we know that we are in bondage? It's just sorrow, is it? We experience sorrow?
Absolutely. The sign of bondage is.
But what about the royal bondages then?
When Baba's talking about royal bondages and then the gold and diamond, the Lokik bondages are really painful. You can see that they're stopping me from doing what I want. All of those things, you know, there's an imposition, there's a control, which is quite external. And so the iron chains are hurting me and I can feel it. It's not deep and subtle, it's quite gross. And so I say, okay, Om Shanti. I'm going to see them as souls. I don't have to leave them. Maybe I can, but maybe I can't. But I have to change my attitude and vision towards them. Okay, they're the ones who are going to show me how much tolerance I have, how much I love Baba, how much I've taken power from Baba. So I free myself from those bondages so that nothing can touch me within the Lokik situation. The golden chains are the chains of relationships within the Brahmin family, because they start off by being service companions, they start off by being friends within the Brahmin environment. And so I'm not checking because I think this is natural. You know, this one is such an important player in the whole scene of drama for service. And so they have this speciality, they have this quality. And so I come very close to them, except that at some point they want to go a different way and I want to go a different way, and there's a problem. But even before that problem starts, or even if drama intervenes and takes them off to a different place, a different country, or takes me off to a different place, a different country, or something happens between us, some misunderstanding and causes a rift, whatever it may be, but that relationship isn't going to last forever. And before it brings me sorrow or pain, can I recognize my dependency? Okay, if this person isn't there for service, can I manage? If this person chooses to do other things, am I going to miss them? Am I going to remember them instead of Baba? And so the golden chains are the relationships within the Brahmin family. And the diamond chains are what Baba mentioned. I am the right person. Nothing can happen without me. I need to be the one who's in charge. I am the one who makes the decisions. Why? Because Baba has blessed me with a good intellect. I am the one who is wise. And so I am the one who has a right to do everything. So these thoughts of I, those are the diamond bondages that finally Baba talks about. You have to die from that ego and then you'll be free. And so most of us at some point, we've left the Lokik bondages, we've dealt with the golden bondages, the golden chains. They look very nice, very beautiful, attractive, but there's chains. And then the diamond chains. But what I'm saying is right. Can't you trust me? Of course I know what I'm talking about. This is right. How come you're not in agreement with me? You should be in agreement with me. I have the experience, I have the skills. So that's the running commentary that's going on inside. But no, I'm an instrument for Baba. And each one who's around me, or even not around me, but each one within the Brahmin family is an instrument. And how could God's task happen with one? Even Baba is saying, I don't want to do anything on my own. I want all my children to be with me when I do it. Brahma Baba couldn't do anything on his own. And not only Mama, one companion, but all of them, all the children. And so after that, thousands. And so try doing something in Madhuban. Some of you, I know that Aruna Ben has tried and has done well, but I think many on this program must have seen. I want to do a little program in Gyan Srovar. My goodness, how many people do I have to connect with and make sure that they're on the same page, that they're understanding what needs to happen? Just a little tiny 10-minute thing in Gyan Srovar. And if you want to do a whole retreat in Gyan Srovar, ask Aruna Ben her experience and she'll tell you of dealing with many, 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 many. And if you're thinking about a bigger program than just one retreat, it's a huge amount of dying that has to go on so that you win everybody's hearts, you win their cooperation, and everything goes smoothly. Otherwise, one individual sticking their leg out and you fall over it and the program doesn't happen. The event can't happen. So the ego, I can do it, I can't. It's only with everyone's cooperation. And if I can manage in a little center with 2 or 3, wonderful. Baba will put me into a bigger arena, managing with 20, 25. Then I'll be given another task of dealing with hundreds. And so drama gradually teaches us. And we learn to accept that responsibility, and we learn that we have to be flexible, we have to listen, we can't do things on our own. And whatever another is saying, I have to listen, because they are speaking from their perspective and their experience. I look at things from here, they are looking at things from that side. And the task is not one-dimensional, it is multidimensional. And so everybody sharing their perspective and giving their finger of support and cooperation is going to make something happen. And I have to match up with everyone. And so that's the dying, in which, yes, then it's a very sweet experience. You know, and Baba praises all the Sevadharis who come from different regions to do service in Madhuban, and Baba praises them. Cutting vegetables in Madhuban, simple job. And somebody will tell you, don't sit here, please sit here. Somebody will come and say, but why are you sitting here? Can you sit there? I don't know whether you ever experienced that. If you get stuck, no, I'm not going to move, I'm going to sit here. Well, then probably you won't be asked to come and even help cut vegetables tomorrow. Must be a reason why they're asking me to move, and they know I don't know. And yes, if I want to get into a debate about it, fine, I can try, but it's not worth it.
Yes, gentlemen, all very true. Thank you so much. If we can move on to this thing about service. Actually, I want to say, yeah, yesterday's Murli was very nice, gentlemen, in which Baba said that when you do service, at the end of that service, there should not be that feeling that you owe anybody anything, right? No feeling of bondage. That was a very deep point, that you owe anybody or that there's any kind of obligation.
That's right, yeah.
Would you like to comment on that?
It's true, isn't it, that if I do something for you, then I'm expecting something in return from you. But if I've done it for Baba, whether you acknowledge or don't acknowledge, it's okay. A story that I've sometimes related, and maybe some of you have heard it, but very, very early days in Tennyson Road. And Baba had this little car that stood us in very good stead for many years. And it needed washing. And there was a very new brother who had come along, and it was Sunday. And so it was the tiny little space we had in Tennyson Road, not even next door, just that little flat. And he said to Daddy, Daddy, I'm available for service. Is there something you'd like me to do? And Daddy said to him, can you wash the car? And he was very happy. So he did a very good job, and it took him a good amount of time, but it was Sunday, so he was happy to have done it. And sparkling, gleaming car outside Baba's house. And so I said, thank you to him. And he turned around and he said, I didn't do it for you. You don't have to thank me. I did it for Baba. He was very polite, very courteous. It wasn't rude or sarcastic or anything. But of course, it touched something very deep. Of course, he had done it for Baba. And so I should have remembered Baba and said, Baba's smiling and is pleased with you. Something like that instead of, oh, thank you. And so very simple thing. He wasn't expecting any thanks, and he didn't want to accept any thanks. And so big lesson. Little things, I do something. Am I waiting for your approval? Then I might be disappointed because you've got your head into something else and you're not about to give me your approval. Am I going to get disappointed and say, well, I don't think I'm going to bother to help them anymore. They don't even realize how much time I've given, you know? So that expectation I have is going to create sorrow and bondage for me and my distress. And on the other side, I'm expecting you to do this. Why? Because I'm God's child. I'm an instrument for Baba. And so if I ask you to do something, how dare you say no to me? You shouldn't be saying no. And if you say no, then I get upset. But that was again my expectation. And so, yes, these tangles that come into service instead of just pure altruism, and to know that I'm doing it for Baba out of pure love. I'm not even thinking I'm doing it for my future and this, that, and the other. No, I love Baba. I have talents. Let me use them for Baba. I have time. Let me use that for Baba. I have health. I can do something physical. I met somebody who's been in Gyan since the 70s. And she said, I had made ice cream at home because I knew that the sisters wouldn't be having ice cream outside. And I brought the first box of ice cream. And for me, it was an experiment because I hadn't been making ice cream at home before. But I found a recipe and I tried it and I made the ice cream and I brought it to Tennyson Road. And Daddy was so happy. And she said, I'm going to share it with all because those who really are following Baba's principles don't even want to eat ice cream outside. So there are some who haven't eaten ice cream for a long time. I'm going to share it with them. And she said, all I knew was how to cook. I didn't know how to do anything else. But then just doing that brought me so close and I understood more and more of Gyan. I started to give the course to people. And that so created amazing, powerful instruments. And she said that soon it was not just me, it was a team of us, and we were all doing cooking for Baba together. So really just doing it out of love for Baba, whatever it is you can do, something little, something big, offer that to Baba. And Baba will make good use of you if you just simply do it with that love.
Yes, thank you, gentlemen. We'll move on to a few of the questions. I had already actually one or two questions earlier yesterday. So one of them is that this is a teacher, and if there is friction between two people and this teacher is trying to mediate between these two people, how is one to look at the situation? Is it that both are wrong, both are right? Basically, what attitude, what mindset do you use when dealing with conflict or mediating two people? What kinds of thoughts?
Remembering Mama and how One person would come with one story, another person would come with another side of the story, and Mama would bring them together, and Mama would say, well, this one is right because of this, and this one is right because of this. Mama would never say this one's right and this one's wrong, but Mama would see the virtue of this one and what is good, and the virtue of that one, and point it out to each one, so that then they could appreciate things from a different perspective from each other's side. Example, one person was in the kitchen and something got burnt, and the other person came in and said, why did you burn it? And so one person, well, maybe it needed a little bit more attention on your part. And so this person, never mind the tone that they used, but this person has cautioned you to be more careful. And this one, well, okay, so this time things got a bit burnt, but the love with which she was doing it, and then she got a bit distracted, and so it became occupied, so that's why things happened. But she's been doing this for so long, for such a long time, with such love. Appreciate that. And so this way of not saying you are right and you are wrong, but just pointing out that both are coming from a good space, but something went wrong within that. And so this clash happened. And so simple example, but you can see that was the way Mama dealt with conflict, helping each other see the good in the other, so that then they would come together.
Yeah, gentlemen, and just to see good in everything. This is my realization, because the moment I don't see good, I take sorrow. So I have to see good. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, here's another question. In this Brahmin Parivar family, there are sanskars. The sanskars of everyone are very different, and we're in it together because of service or karmic accounts, whatever. How do we still keep going forward without affecting our stage?
I have to learn to step above. I can't allow myself to be impacted by the thoughts of this one's like this, that one's like this. My time, my energy, my stage, everything is going to go. And I don't want to lose anything at the moment. I just want to be able to take and share and accumulate for myself. Very, very short time left. I don't want to get involved in this one's sanskars and this one's doing this, that one's doing that. I have to create a stage by just being with Baba, not just at Amrit Vela and the Murli, but through the day, just practicing that stage. There was a lovely Murli a couple of weeks ago in which Baba was talking about the companion and the observer. If you remember these two things, who is your companion, and the fact that just as he is the observer, I too have to be with him and be the observer and watch all of these things going on. Otherwise, the game of sanskars is endless, it's infinite, it's going to carry on till the end. And I can just be part of that game and be looking here and there and there and there, and all my time is gone. But I don't want to do that anymore. I want to be up above. And through that, then maybe that will set a new culture, a new tone, and others will also decide they want to be up above and they don't want to get caught up in sanskars clashes.
Okay. So for the next few questions, gentlemen, maybe just quick, brief answers. One of the question is how to be free of others' expectations.
I have to have a chat with them and tell them what I can do and what I can't do, and just open dialogue. And then maybe if I've put straight what I can do, then I can put a full stop to it.
Okay. What quality is needed to make people unite What quality is needed to unite people in a task?
It starts with introversion. That introversion, that power of silence, and then you're able to have the capacity to bring together people.
Okay, and how to get out of the golden and diamond bondage, even after knowing that it is a bondage?
Dying. I have to kill the ego again and again and again. Layers and layers, peel them off.
Okay, and then last question, I think from yesterday's Murli. So for being viceless, if you have any trace of vice, it will not allow another soul to be transformed from the Shudra clan to the Brahmin clan. How can we block a soul's fortune?
I also had that question as I was reading that, Murli. But yes, part of it is their destiny, but partly it's also my impact on them. And again, Mama, somebody coming, whatever condition they were in, but because of her purity, she was able to empower them and inspire them to become a Brahmin. And so we have that example. And of course, then number-wise along the line. And so I'm not completely free from the vices. And so whatever I say to them, Baba said that it's probably an indication that they also are of that clan in which they're battling. So Baba wasn't saying that you've cancelled their fortune or anything, but I'm seeing how similar energies work together. And so think about the service that Baba and Mama did in creating the dadis. And after the dadis, then those souls who came in the 50s and became instruments for such powerful service. So they created that air quality souls. And what are the souls that are coming today? Their fortune, their destiny, but also my involvement with them. So it's drama works in a very cohesive way. Energies are drawn together.
Thank you so much. So wishing everyone and Sister Jayanti a very happy Christmas. And want to say that since next week is a very busy period for everyone and Sister Jayanti, so we will not be having Zoom on the 27th. And so we will see you back here on the 3rd of January with new inspirations, and it's Brahma Baba's month of silence. So I'm sure Jayanti-Ben will give us new inspirations for that. So thank you, everyone. And thank you, Jayanti-Ben, for this year's Zooming on revision. It's been amazing, wonderful, really lots of lessons learned. Thank you.
And Merry Christmas to everyone, and have a very, very happy New Year. And thanks, Aruna-Ben. Om Shanti.
We'll just end with meditation now. Thank you.
Silent night, holy night, all is calm, all is bright, round yon virgin mother and child, holy infant so tender and mild, sleep in heavenly peace, sleep in heavenly peace. Silent night, holy night, shepherds quake at the sight, glory stream from heaven afar, Christ the Savior.